So this rel you can either install in your VMware Workstation. This is your local machine, local system, you can say. And the other way is you can install in either of the cloud service provider like AWS, Azure, and GCP. So I prefer GCP. Why? Because GCP is giving $300 as a kind of free tier, we can say. So you just go to here. So first we will see how to create in a GCP, cloud service provider like GCP as well as AWS. I'll be showing you. At last, we will be seeing VMware Workstation. Okay. So yeah, just go to this link, console.google.com. Okay. And the same instruction is also available in your slides as well. So yeah, rel installation on GCP. Yeah, you should go to cloud.google.com. Console. So this is your console link. So if you go to cloud.google.com, you can see get $300 in free credit. Okay, this free usage of 20 products includes your VM instance or compute engine as well. So that is good, right? So you just need to log in with your Gmail ID which you want to use, and after that you will be prompted with the bill. So billing, you can opt for credit card. Okay, so the payment they allow is credit card. But in AWS, they even allow debit card as well. So credit card. So yeah, after that you will be you can see this dashboard. Okay, so it is bit like you can't get anything over here. So you just search for your compute engine. So compute engine, or you can either go via this navigation panel. Okay, so yeah. Okay, nowadays they allow debit card as well. Okay. So the recurring payment, some of the debit card is won't allow Saraswati. So that is the reason I asked you guys to use credit card. Some of the debit cards, it won't allow the recurring payment. So yeah. So if you don't have a credit card, try with your debit. Okay. If not working, you can use one of your friends or your parents like that. So yeah. So here also you can search for the service. But let me search it over here only. Compute engine. And you need to enable that API. Okay, so yeah. You will be treated with the screen like enable API. Okay, so after that you can see this screen. So let me this is already created one. So let me delete it. So why again we can prefer GCP is like GCP is the one who is giving 4 gigs of RAM for in free tier. So that is good actually. So 2 vCPU means 2 virtual cores and 4 gigs of RAM or memory. So that is good actually compared to AWS. So in AWS they are giving 1 core and 2 gigs of memory, I think so. This is for GCP. AWS will come to that. Okay, so that enable API, if it is already enabled, you won't be seeing the screen, Saraswati. So you just open this, and after, if it is not showing, you just see whether this dashboard you can see. Okay, so this is the main dashboard for your VM instance or creating your VM. Okay, so just click on create instance, because many people might not know GCP. Like, you guys would have been familiarized with AWS. So yeah, so instance we can give anything. So let me give the same logic labs. So region, let it be, yeah, sorry, it should not have a capital letter. So region, you keep it as it is, okay? So it doesn't matter. So this is what I was talking about. So it doesn't have a free tier. Why? Because we are using our $300 usage, right? So it is of course having the free tier, but you must scroll to the last page. See here, your free trial credits will be used for this VM instance. So you must see this in order to use the, if you don't see this message, then the cost will be incurred in your debit card or credit card. So, so this, if you run for the whole month, you will be incurred with $25. So please do remember, like, you must see this message, your free trial credit. Okay. So let me scroll to the top. And there are so many series of tiers in this one. Okay. So like the powerful one. So we don't, since we are using just for our lab purpose, we can use the most minimal one. Okay. And yeah, so these are all the sec. Yeah. So these are all the different tiers of kind of sub tiers, we can say, like inside this series. So, so many ways you can create, but this itself is more than enough actually. 2 vCPU and 4 gigs of memory. Okay. Even 2 gigs is more than enough, but still you can use 4 gigs, no issues. And yeah, so these are all you need not change. So right away, by default, it will be selecting Debian. Uh, like Debian is another variant of Unix. Okay, so don't select Debian. So here itself, they even provide a rel. So okay, so these many variants of operating system you can use with this one. See, even Windows they will be using. We can install. So yeah, let's install a rel. And by default, again, it is selected with rel 7. So rel 9 is also there, but we will be installing rel 8. Pay as you go. So this is a mandatory one. So you just give pay as you go, okay? Uh, no, Kali Linux is there, I think so, yeah. Rocky Linux is there. Kali Linux is not there. So Rocky Linux is the latest Linux distro actually, which is like a successor of CentOS. So CentOS is kind of depreciated now. There is no support from official Red Hat only. So Yeah. You can either use RHEL or Rocky Linux, but anyhow, you are mostly preparing for the exam, right? So you must use a RHEL. So previously, like 10 years ago, you must use or you must buy a license for using the RHEL. Why? Because it is mainly focusing on enterprise, right? So of course, companies would pay the license, but as a normal consumer, it would be a bit hard to pay the license, right? So nowadays it is open source. So yeah, that is good actually. So Rel 8, you need not change any of these settings, okay? So yeah, so we need not change any. Inside the server, we can change the host name, everything we can change inside. And another good thing about GCP is like you can use their own Cloud Shell SSH client. So that is a good thing is like that is as powerful as your Putty or Kitty. Okay, so yeah, and it won't be as fast as AWS, I would say. The control panel or the overall experience would be, but yeah, they're getting there. So it would take some time to create. Okay, it is created. And if you see the status, it is turned on. Okay. So now you can, so these are all the options you have to open the remote shell. So what is a remote shell? We will be seeing like, one sec. So a remote shell is like, so I am accessing my laptop directly, right? So this is a direct access. So no one can't access my laptop, uh, and they won't get the same user interface or the screen, right? But if you enabled your remote desktop, right? So in Windows also you're having a remote desktop. So if you enable that, a person from some other place or his own laptop, he can access your screen. So that is the remote desktop option. Even in Windows, it is there and it will be accessing via a port. So the port is, and the port, why we need a port, right? So one sec. Um, Yeah, so let me give a small explanation. So this is your mission and this is your, let's say your friend's mission. So you want to see the same screen in your friend's mission. Okay, so there are multiple ways you can do. Either you can cast your screen, or if you want to use the full potential, you only need to use remote desktop option. Okay, so how it works is, so it will be, sorry, not this. You can connect to the same network and you can use the port. In our case, in Linux, we'll be using port 22. So port is kind of like a tunnel, you can say. So we are using the port 22 for our SSH client. Okay, so this is the machine A, system A, we can say. And we want to see the system A to be connected to system B. Okay, or we need to see the remote connection, right? So this is for Linux. And for Windows, it is port is 3389. 3389. So yeah, if you type MSTSC, you can see the remote desktop connection. So this is how you can connect to a Windows server. So if we create a Windows instance in our GCP, we can connect via here also. So that also should work. And if you are using a Linux machine, okay, so you can use either Putty or Kitty. So what is Putty and Kitty is nothing but your Putty or Kitty. Okay, so it is nothing but your remote connection, you can say. So we are remotely connecting to the same server. So this server is residing in some random data center. Even we don't know the exact location of the server. We only know the data center location, right? So yeah, that is the remote connection. So we need to remotely connect to this server. So this is the only way you can do that. And GCP is offering you the cloud shell. So yeah, moving forward, you will be seeing what is shell and all, but yeah. Saraswati, if you don't see the API option, then it would be by default enabled. Okay, so yeah, if you see this dashboard, then yeah, you're good to go. You can right away create the instance and all. So this is the name. Okay, so we can right away switch to the root user. So this is the command we can use to switch to root user. So why we need to use the root user is, um, of course, we can have the full privilege for the server logic labs, right? So yeah, so this is our server name. So the same screen is the one we can see in our VMware workstation. So what is the downside of using a cloud service provider, right? So there, of course, there will be a downside. So you can't reset your root's password right away. So of course you can reset, but not in the way like in your VMware workstation. So you can't interrupt the boot, right? So why? Because you won't be seeing the boot screen in your GCP, right? So it will be just in this screen. So you won't be seeing like, okay, whether it is booting or not. So, and another thing is it will be only in CLI. So now let me explain you what is CLI and GUI. So CLI is command line interface. GUI is graphical user interface. Okay, so CLI is the very good example would be like if you open, you might have at least once opened your command prompt, right? So let's say your whole Windows machine is just your command prompt. So that is your CLI, right? So yeah, like previously it used to be like that, like in MS-DOS time, like 1980s and 90s. So we can still use that. So even command prompt is bit powerful and PowerShell is also there. So if you want to use the GUI, this is your actual GUI, right? So like you're having a cursor and you can click the icons and yeah, all are graphical icons and you are interacting with the server or your laptop using your uh, like their icons. The operating system it has their own icons and everything is like kind of graph icons, and you can use that, right? So like very straightforward. But CLI means you must know the command. So yeah. So that is the reason some people would hesitate using the CLI, but CLI, I would say CLI is powerful than GUI, right? So yeah, if you want to create a folder like 100 times in your like any, okay, yeah. So if you want to create it over here, you need to come over here and create new folder. But let's say you want to create 10 folders, you need to follow the same operation, right? Or you can click Control Shift N. So still it is cumbersome, right? So you can use a command to do that, or you can write a loop for that. So yeah, I would say CLI is way powerful than GUI in certain tasks. Of course, it will be CLI only, Sky. So yeah. So since we are using a real machine, you must be using CLI only. So why? Because in most of the enterprise, we won't be, of course, we will be having a GUI, but we won't be using that. Only in some certain cases, like if we really want a GUI, we will be enabling that. Okay, so yeah. And the another term is called as console. So you might have came across this console term a lot. So what is a console? I'll be taking a VMware example. So we will come to this later, but still a console is like, this is your console. So like you will be having your session or your mission, and you can change the configuration of the machine as well as how it can boot, right? So if you want, let's say, in this case, I paused the guest session, right? So if you want to restart, you will be having this option over here, right? So advanced boot, you can say. So this option will be only available in a console. So that is the console actually. So there are so many consoles out there, like for the physical servers. So now is again another term you might have seen, like physical servers. So and cloud servers. So what is a physical server and a cloud server is? Physical is just like this is your physical server. So this 2 gigs memory, 2 gig memory is from my laptop. It is utilizing. So physically, my the memory available in my laptop is sharing with this VMware Workstation application, right? So that is a physical server. What is a cloud server? Just like your GCP. So we are using the uh, like cloud server is like actually we are renting or we are utilizing a server which is residing in some other location, right? So anyhow, it is a physical connection only, but we are accessing via remotely, we can say. So that is how we can put a cloud connection. So this 4 gigs of same memory, it won't be accessible, right? So you can change that option, of course, but yeah, it will be residing somewhere. So that is your cloud server. Okay, so the console of cloud server is not in our hands. So like you, of course, this is the console, means you can change the options, how you can boot, or if you want to terminate them session, anything you can do via here, but the options are limited, right? So that is the reason you can't interrupt the boot and reset the root password, everything, right? So yeah, that is your physical and cloud server. In physical server, this is your control. You can do anything, but that is not the case in your cloud. Okay, so let's do the same in our AWS instance. So again, AWS also offering you Let me come here. AWS is offering you in India, yeah, they're offering free tier now again. Do you have VMware which can yeah, Dev, I will be telling you that, okay? So just go to this link. You need to sign up, and in I know like in AWS they're been supporting the debit card and credit card for a long time. So most of the cards it would be accepting. Okay, so yeah, you just sign up and sign up with your Amazon account. Okay, so yeah, so like after the billing section, you will be treated with this dashboard. So in this dashboard, you can see again, like you need to search for the EC2, right? So there will be a lot of services. So please don't use or like confuse with some other service. So right away you can search for EC2. Okay, so yeah. So you can enable this new EC2 experience. Okay, so previously the UI is a bit different. So this is very straightforward actually. So just click launch instance. So yeah, the free tier, we can use that. Okay, so name again we can give, let me give in lower cases, logic labs. Number of instance is one, and we can select which AMI we want. So AMI is Amazon machine image, right? So like again, you will be having this almost same, right? So yeah, almost same it would be. Anyhow, we need a rel only, right? So Red Hat Enterprise 9, but fine, no problem. We can use 9 also. So yeah, just give rel 9, or we can even search for rel 9. Red Hat Enterprise. No, okay. No problem. We can use rel 9 also. No issues. So Amazon has their own Linux AMI. Okay, so you need not use that. Of course, that would be easy, but still, anyhow, we even have a rel or Red Hat one, right? So yeah, you can use that instead. So yeah, so this is all the like tiers. So many are there. Always select the free tier one. So here, if you see here, like one virtual CPU and 1 gig of memory only they are providing you. But in GCP, they are providing you this one, T2 medium, right? So 2 vCPU and 4 gigs of memory. So that is the reason GCP is good actually comparatively from AWS. So CC and debit. 1 vCPU. So that is more than enough, but still RAM or memory. So yeah, and there is a like SSH key pair anyhow we'll be doing later in our sessions, but so key pair, you must use key pair in order to use your Linux or connect your Linux machine, right? So there are different types of key pair, a lot of things are there. So anyhow later we'll be seeing those in our sessions. But as of now, you must need a key pair. So there is a key pair means it is a pair of key like private and public key. Okay, so of course the private key will be residing in the server. So this PEM file, right? PEM or PPK. So this is a public key. So key name again we can use Logic Labs. Key pair, okay. Logic Lab we can use. Create a key pair. So you must have this file handy, or always you should use this file. So yeah, so you need not change any of the network settings. Okay, so network or firewall settings. So always keep this anywhere. Okay, and so 10 gigs is enough actually. You can see here again, you must see this message or info. If you don't see this, then your free tier is expired or it is not enabled in your account. So if you see this info message only, then it is free, or else it will be incurring cost in your uh, debit or credit card. So you just click on launch instance. Okay, sorry. We need to select VPC, right? Okay. You need to create a VPC. Okay, just a sec. To create a just give any name. So what is a VPC is just like your network. Okay, so this is your network settings. So yeah, Logic Labs VPC can give. So IPv4, CIDR manual input. So that's those fine. Create VPC. Okay, why it is not automatically allocating? Not sure. Some random IP we can give. 168. Oh, we can give, yeah.
Hi, this is Sai.
Yeah.
To create the EC2 instance, do we need to VPC? It's not necessary, right?
No, we need a connection, right? Network connection. So
No,
by default,
it will take automatically network connect for network connection. We don't need to select the VPC by default. It will select.
yeah,
No,
that is what.
without create the virtual private cloud, you can't create the EC2 instance in AWS.
It will take directly. It will take by
VPC is
default.
by default
Yeah,
because we are creating that.
by default it will create exactly. But yeah, I'm not sure. In this case, it is not. Let me 1 second.
No, it will
It's right.
I think you should
directly.
retry, or
Yeah,
rather do one thing. Go to VPC first and check whether it is available or not.
It
yeah.
will be
So
available, sir. Directly, it will be available. We'll just launch the instance. That's more than enough to go with. We'll go.
exactly. So by default, it will be creating. So just a sec. Let me try to launch a different AMI and yeah. So if we see launch instance. Okay.
It you can select need to create one key pair. Okay, already there. Here you no need to select anything. Keep it like that as default and scroll down a little bit.
No, VPC is required, right? So you need to create the VPC, right? So yeah,
Yeah, Karthik, just first go to the VPC and see whether VPC is available in this region by default or not. I
yeah.
think
Yeah, that's
It's
correct.
It
while
is,
some testing you have deleted that.
I think it's
yeah,
only
it is,
for Mumbai region. Mumbai
So
region.
change the region and you will get the VPC. That's it.
Yes, correct. Asian Pacific
okay.
Mumbai region, AP South 1. Come down a little bit.
Yeah, just a sec. So yeah, by default, it used to be creating, and I'm not sure why it is not working. So let's see.
Then you can again go and create
Yeah,
a default VPC in US East 1. There is an
yeah,
option to create a default VPC.
yeah. There is a VPC is already there in Mumbai region, so we
So
can use
let's
that.
try here.
Yeah, so we can go back to our EC2. Maybe today, not today, yesterday I removed the VM, so there might be a issue in that. So that is the reason. It even removed the VPC, of course, but yeah. By default, a VPC would be created. So VPC is nothing but your network settings, right? So it is nothing but your network settings over here. So here you can see network adapter, right? So this is your physical one, but virtually we must need a NIC, okay, or NIC card, you can say. So yeah, just select rel 9. So yeah, it is, as of now it is populated, right? So yeah, that is fine. Let me again, no problem. We can create a new pair. PEM not needed. We can use PPK, so that is easier for us. And yeah, we can even use up to 30 gigs, but 10 gigs is fine for us as of now. So yeah, let's launch the instance. So you can clear this filter if you are already having any instance. So yeah. So click on the connect section and you will be having a lot of options to connect. Okay, so session manager is there. SSH client is the one which we need. So yeah, you can either use your command prompt nowadays, okay? Because like as of now, it even allows the SSH connection. So yeah, you can use this also. And permission denied. Why? Because you must use the key. So this is where many people would make this mistake. Okay, so that is the reason I was showing you. You should not right away connect this. So you should always give, or always you should point to the place where the key is residing. So first you need to CD to that, right? So just a sec. Let me copy the key to the desktop. So if you see here, the key is the Logic Labs 2, right? So now, yeah, CD desktop and Logic Labs 2. So you can see this key. And it is a PPK file, right? So, okay, PEM only it will allow to use here. So PPK means you should use via Kitty. Okay, so what is Kitty and Putty means? It is like, as we told, it is a remote connection. So you should use this, and I will be showing you how to use in this command prompt as well. Okay, but let's try once with PPK. Of course, it won't allow, but yeah, let's try once with a space. So let me clear the screen. So I is for our file or the keypad. Okay, so Logic Labs 2 dot ppk and the server name. So they even given an example for how to connect, right? So yeah, so both are same actually. Yeah, so it won't allow the ppk file. You can download PEM also. So it is, there is no issue using that, right? So, but anyhow, we will be using this remote desktop or remote connection, I would say. So this is the port which I told. So port is by default, it would be 22 for SSH. Okay, so SSH full form is secure shell. So you'll be coming to that later, but yeah, let me connect to this instance. The host name, in host name, you can either give the server's IP or you can use the DNS. So it doesn't matter. Both will redirect to the same server. And come to this SSH. Okay, so in that you should go to auth. So auth is authentication. So these many authentication options are there. So you can ignore everything and you can right away go to browse. Come to desktop, and this is the old key which I use. So this is the one which we need, right? So like Logic Labs 2. So come back to the session and you can save the session. So AWS space LL or Logic Labs save. So yeah, if I double click this, so if you see this dialog box, it is nothing but it is not an error. I would say like it is a info, like which key or whether the key is detected or not, right? So accept. Just click on accept, and the username is EC2 user. Okay, so now we are inside the server. So again, you can do sudo su-root. So yeah, let me do cat/etc red hat release. So you'll be seeing what is cat command in upcoming classes, but yeah, we are using 9 in our AWS and 8 in our GCP. So yeah, let me quickly show you how to install in your VMware Workstation as well, so that. So I personally, I prefer a local machine. So Yeah, because it is under your control, and if you want to add a disk right away, you can add. So there is no limitation, right? So yeah. And if you're an old machine, so like if your laptop is very old, then you can use GCP or AWS. It is a bit faster, I would say. So yeah. So first thing in your VMware workstation is you will be seeing this home screen. Create a new virtual machine, open a virtual machine, or connect to a remote server. So we need to create a new virtual machine. So if anyone having doubt in installation, we can see tomorrow. Okay, so like installation is very straightforward. If not, you can follow this PDF.
Like
And
from where to download this VM? I just missed out.
it is already 1 second. Let me. Actually, I provided you the resource link, right? So in that resource link itself, VMware Workstation, everything is there. So you just need to download it. So this is the link. So that link is also there here, right? So download the VMware Workstation from
Okay.
the drive. So everything would be in this drive, whatever needed for the course, right? So this ISO. So this is for the people who are who want to install locally. So RHEL 8.4. So this is the version which we are using, and this is having a huge size. But why? Because it even includes the packages. So that is the reason it is having 9.4 gigs. And this is the VMware Workstation Pro. So the 615 MB, right? So you just download this, and the key is also here. So you just, while it asks for license, right? So if I uninstall and reinstall, it would take a lot of time for me. So that is the reason I made a doc for that. So this is the key you need to copy paste once you first launched your workstation. Okay, so it will ask for a key, and this is a lifetime key. So you just copy paste that, and yeah, that's it. You will be seeing this screen. Okay, so yeah, I'll be sharing that link once again. So is there any WhatsApp group? Yeah, of course, WhatsApp group is there, Shiva. I'll be sending you that later. So first we will complete this one, okay? So click on this create a new virtual machine, and you can select custom. Why? Because we need to change each parameters if needed, okay? And this hardware version, it is like VMware is like a, so what is VMware? I didn't explain, right? So VMware is nothing but your same, so it is of course a third-party software. The company itself is a VMware. So what is VMware basically? It's like virtually you're using your, so let me create a new, let's say, yeah. So let's say this is your physical machine, okay? So there is a concept called as a resource sharing. So what the VMware does is, or the VMware software does is, so it will share your existing resource. So let's say this is your, in my case, it is my HP laptop, I can say. So HP laptop or anything it can be, your laptop or your personal computer, right? So yeah, this is your first layer, and it is a physical one. So physical layer or device, we can say, right? So on top of that, you are having your Windows OS, Windows or Mac OS. right? So on top of that, you are having a layer called as virtualization. So what is virtualization is, if needed only, we will be using that virtualization. So in our case, we need to use this. So before this, like you might have heard a term called as dual boot, right? So what is a dual boot is dual boot. So what is a dual boot is like, let's say you want to boot your Windows as well as your Linux, right? So either you can boot Windows and Linux. So before we used to do that, but as like VMware and so many virtualization option is there now. So and the containers is also there, right? So this is kind of depreciated nowadays. So very rarely people use dual boot, but yeah, if you're uh, want full experience, you can of course use dual boot. So dual boot is nothing but again, like you need to select during the boot section, you want to either boot to Windows or your Linux machine. Of course, VMware is there in macOS, Venkatesh. It is a VM Fusion, it is called as. So I will provide you a doc for that, okay? So yeah. So here on top of this one, you just have a layer called as virtualization. So that is so what is a virtualization? So that is a valid question you should be asking. So let me come to the performance section and come to CPU. So here by default in your virtualization will be disabled. Okay, so the first thing before installing your VMware workstation, you must enable the virtualization. So virtually we are using this 6 cores of CPU. So that is the reason we are referring it as vCPU. It is a virtual CPU, right? So virtually in our GCP or AWS, we are using one CPU in AWS and two in GCP, right? So similar way, you want to virtualize your existing physical CPU. So by default, it will be disabled, okay, in Windows as well as in Mac. So you need to enable that. So how to enable that is going to your BIOS section. So I'll be showing you how a BIOS looks like. So yeah, before doing all this, you must go to your BIOS. I hope it allows me because it is okay. It is restoring 1 second. Let me restart this one and go to BIOS. So this is I already created this one. Okay, so I will anyhow show you how to create a VM. Okay, it is taking a lot of time. So if I press F2, right? So you might have seen this BIOS section, right? So you just go to your advanced in your laptop. Okay, so mostly it will be in this section, the virtualization, right? So you should enable that. But here, of course, it won't be there. But yeah, in your laptop, you just first thing you need to do is you need to enable your virtualization. So just press F2 and F2, and it differs actually. In some of the laptops, it is F9 or F12. So yeah, you just Google your laptop model space BIOS. Okay, so it will be showing you how to boot into the BIOS screen. So after booting, you just need to see how to change the virtualization, right? So yeah, you just come to advanced and virtualization, there will be an option here. Okay, so you need to enable that, and after that you need to exit saving changes. That is very important. So after that, only your physical laptop, right, like your laptop, this virtualization will be enabled. So if it is disabled, you will be, of course, receiving an error while installing, or after install also you'll be receiving an error, right? So yeah, that is a prerequisite actually for your VMware Workstation. So let me complete this diagram, sorry for that. So the virtualization, this part is this one, right? So after that is enabled, later only you can use your VMware Workstation. Okay, so yeah, after the VMware Workstation only, inside that you are using your RHEL. So in order to go to your machine, you need to do these many tasks, right? So you need to enable virtualization, everything. But if you are using a GCP one, it is very straightforward, right? So yeah, I think so. The Windows 7 is booted. Okay, pause this. So this is fine. Let me pause this one. So yeah, after enabling the virtualization, come to your new virtual machine, create this option and click on custom. So why I given this diagram is this virtualization, right? So you can have different ways of virtualization or different versions, right? So that is what this screen is all about. The hardware, if you select, so if you see it is having like workstation 5, and if you select that, see the limitation is, you can see here, and it won't be compatible actually. So the compatibility won't be there. Why? Because the physically it won't allow some of the options. See, no SATA devices itself is allowed, and only 3.5 gigs of memory. Means this is like 10 years ago. So the workstation 5 is more than 10 years ago. So if you select workstation 16.2, so the limitation is like huge, right? So 128 gigs memory maximum only you can use that. So anyhow, we have only 8 gigs of memory. So yeah, this is your hardware section, and yeah, you just by default give next, and yeah, you can select install disk image, browse for your disk image. So I will be installing RHEL 8.2 next, and full name you can give anything. So I'll be giving user1. Username is, yeah, we can give user1 as well. The password is 1234. And if you see this info, many miss this. Okay, so the password is for both user and root account. Why? Because like root account is a must for any Linux machine. So that is the reason by default it will create a root user and it will share the same password as of now. So later we can change that, but as of now it will share that. And this option, right? So again, if you're having another partition, right? So let's say you're not using your enterprise laptop, or it is your personal laptop, right? So if you're having another disk, please use that. Why? Because we will be adding a lot of disk in upcoming sessions. So if you're not having a new like another partition, you're having only C colon, right? So you should have only that. Of course, there is no other way, so you should use that. If you have another one, try to use that, right? So yeah, type VM. So create a new folder. Oh, VM is already there. Okay. So VM. Okay. So this is my previous. So these two machines it is. So VM2. One sec. Yeah. Okay. So VM2, and the name we can keep it as rel. Next. So this number of processes by default, it will be selecting one. So this is as similar as your GCP, sorry, AWS. So one VCP we are using. So one is more than enough actually for Linux. And we are using 2 gigs of memory. And this network section you can keep as same. So we can use NAT. You can even use a bridge connection, but the NAT is enough actually. And these are all types of like the SCSI controller is for your physical controller. So again, whatever is recommended, you can give that. So this is different types of disk. So anyhow, if you give NVMe also, it depends on your system's your disk speed, right? So in my case, I am using NVMe disk. So that is the reason I can give that. Anyhow, it will be by default NVMe in your case also. And you can create a new virtual disk since you are using for the first time. And this option is for split virtual disk into multiple files. So if you use this one, this 20 gigs is there, right? So it won't be right away created. So how it works is, let's say this is your disk. So these are all the two options it is available over here. So store virtual disk as a single file. So let's say this is your option 1, option 2. So option 1 is like store as a single file, right? So, and the option 2 is multiple files. So what is the difference, right? So store as a single file is, as the name suggests, like it will store as the whole 20 gigs. So it won't be storing in an incremental way. So if you give this one, by default, it will store like 8 to 10 MB only as of now. And moving forward, it will increase that as per your usage, right? So that is how it works. So let's say once you launched your instance, it will be, of course, it will be like minimum of 1 to 2 gigs it will be using. So incremental way, it will be increasing the size. In this option, it will be right away creating a 20 gig in your this one, everything. So here, it will be right away creating. So we can give the second option, no issues. And this also you need to select. So what is this is where your disk should be residing. So we can give the same one, but we can rename it as disk. Okay, so VMDK. So that is your extension. VM disk, it is VMDK. Okay. So yeah, we can customize the hardware and we can remove the printer because anyhow you won't use that. So, and yeah, you just select this power on virtual machine. Of course, Karin, recording will be shared in Logic Labs YouTube channel. Okay, so Just a sec. Yeah. So yeah, it will be uploaded over here. So this is yesterday's session, right? So yeah, it will be uploaded here. And in upcoming classes, you can see the sessions in your portal, logiclabtech.com. So this is the portal. Okay. Sorry. So it will be uploaded over here. And these demo classes, it will be uploaded in your YouTube channel. In our YouTube channel. So yeah, it would take some time. It depends on your machine's speed. So you should be a bit patient, and yeah, I'm going overboard with the time. So let me just show you the default installation. So tomorrow, please do install your VMware. At least install the VMware Workstation, and yeah, just a sec. This would take some time. Just a second. Yeah. So you can either do partition over here. So it is a by default it is installing, like it takes the default settings, right? So yeah. So now this would take at least 10 to 20 minutes. So yeah, tomorrow we'll continue with the same. After installation, you will be seeing the login screen. So that's it, right? So try to install the same. Anyhow, the instructions is there in your resource section. So again, I'll giving you the chat. Okay, so here you just please do download your rel ISO as well as workstation. So you can ignore VM So this is for some later section or later session. So please don't use this one. Download VMware Workstation Pro. Okay, and the key for that. So anyhow, the installation instruction is over here. So whatever I told, it is already documented. So you can follow these steps as well. So yeah. WhatsApp group link. Yeah, sorry, sure. So just a sec. So you can join this. One sec. I sent in the chat, right? So you can join the WhatsApp group via this link. So yeah, that's it for the day. Please do install the VMware Workstation, okay? And the ISO. If you're stuck somewhere, please do inform me tomorrow. So yeah. So yeah, that's it for the day. Thanks all. Bye-bye.